Hey, what's up? It's another episode of Watch U Strappin. These are not watch reviews, so just a quick wristwatch check of the day with a strap of choice. Usually something aftermarket, unless it's something new, and I'll show it on this OEM factory bracelet or strap option. And yeah, what we got here today actually is kind of old and new. This is the Glycine Combat Sub in 39, and this is the 39 millimeter version, obviously. And this is blue. This is the blue one. And this reference is GL0400. And actually, I owned this about 2 years ago. Right now, as of this recording, it's about it's March 10th. And I was checking back my records of my timekeeping from the previous one I owned, and it started around April of 2022, and right now it's 2024. So yeah, and I had it for several months, quite a few months actually, but eventually I sold it. I'm pretty sure I had it for probably about half a year or so. I don't remember the last timekeeping event that I had prior to owning this, but I believe it's certainly under a year, if not half a year or so. It's not that I didn't like it. I really do like this watch a lot back then. I did. And just the color, I think the blue is, for me, it's one of the most perfect blues. I mentioned this before in some other videos. I don't really like blues that have like a greenish tint to them, where they almost look like a not quite the turquoise. I wouldn't like that at all either, but like almost like an aquamarine or like a very dark teal or something like that. I want something that's generally just as no nonsense, just a pure blue or dark blue of some sort, and this definitely nails that color really nicely. Just love that radiant dial. I like matte blue dials, but I also like a good radiant blue one, and this one really shifts into black or very dark blue, but on a certain lighting, I'm not sure it's picking up here, you'll get certain like radiancy, like that will just kind of rotate around the dial. It looks really nice. It's a real, almost too, not too intense, but a relatively intense pop of blue amongst a fairly dark dial, and it looks nice. And this, I like the blue aluminum insert. I think it's just the right color. So that being said, yeah, I just long story short, I owned a Tudor well afterwards. I don't like going with the entry level or the base models, which is, like say, I like the Black Bay 58, and so you basically only have your choice of the black gilt, right? That's the first one that came out, and then the blue one that came out, and I really like the blue one. But in either cases, and for most Tudor in the Black Bay range, 58, 41, even a 30, what is it, the 34 now, right? BB 34. The snowflake hands are, I feel, not optimized for the dial. It's not a total deal killer, but if I'm being honest, the snowflake, I love snowflake hands actually, but I believe they should be on something with over a snowflake dial, such as the Pelagos. Just those square indexes work better, and a much better match with the snowflake hands. They're so angular, versus, as you can imagine, because this one is a very similar Black Bay 58 kind of dial, or very submarinerish, right? Classic diving dial design. The angular nature of the snowflake hands, they don't have anything that really match it. They don't really match the triangle, because there's nothing that's quite that shape. They don't, I guess they're batons, but not really. They're not really square enough like the Pelagos dial is with the snowflake dial. So it's always seemed a little bit off. And then they have the snowflake seconds hands, which is basically like a diamond. Also, again, it works with a handset, but overall the handset look like they don't entirely belong to the over the dial. I mean, it's okay, and I can, if I found something that I really like, I might go for it. But yeah, I didn't. So actually, that's why I went with. I didn't want to go base model 1, and then also I want something different. So that's why I went with the bronze model. Has the Explorer dial, but still has snowflake hands. But overall, I think it was a much more interesting look. Material being bronze, and the tone of that golden tone of that bronze against the brown tones, and it was really nice. I do sometimes regret selling that one. Think about getting it back, but I don't know. I have to think long and hard because that thing is not cheap. But I was looking at videos of you know, thinking about getting another Black Bay 58. Do I want to spend that kind of money? The blue one always appealed to me, but again, I don't think the handset worked as well. And then I thought back to this watch, and I remember this was pretty good. It has very good performance out of the box. It has a lot of the features that I like. I think it's kind of a hybrid of a Submariner and a Tudor Black Bay 58. Probably more Tudor Black Bay 58. But yeah, it's got a little bit of that, but then it's got its own thing going. I mean, a completely different case shape, drilled lugs. This bezel is somewhat similar to the coinaging of the Black Bay 58s. But the bezel insert is different, and I think the text that they're using is a little bit different too, the font style. Dial, I don't believe any of them have the very fine graduations around the outer perimeter, so there's some added detail on this one. I like the fact that the date is at the 6th, and so it's very symmetrical, and it works with this particular version, because there are some these 39s that have the black date, which I don't particularly like. It's a black date with the red numbers. It's kind of cool when you first look at it, but when I've had a watch Glycine Combat Sub GMT that actually had that, but it was at the 3. But either way, it's actually kind of hard to read, especially with that magnifying glass over the one that had it at the 3 on the GMT model that I owned a little while back. Yeah, almost impossible to read, because it's just, unless you look at it dead on, but that Cyclops had a hell of a lot of reflection too, so that didn't help with the legibility. That was a stupid move on them. They should have just left it as a white date disc on that model. I might have kept it. I thought about replacing that, swapping it out, opening it up and getting into the Eternals, but do I really want to pull off all the hands and the dial just to swap out the date disc if I can find one? Anyways, back to this watch. So it's very symmetrical, date at the 6th, and then this layout really works. It looks like one of the indexes almost, but it doesn't look out of place. It's not too much wording. I mean, I suppose it could have done without the automatic part. It just said Combat Sub 30 ATM. I think it goes without saying this is an automatic, just judging by the sweep of the hand. But whatever, it doesn't really bother me. I think overall the look of it's pretty subdued and not too much. I mean, I've seen worse or heavier lines of text. And to be honest, there is already like the 24-hour track, or the 13 to 24 rather, that's kind of next to the indexes, and I kind of like that too. It just gives it that slight military vibe, or field watch almost, kind of. It makes it very tooly, and I like that added detail. And overall, the overall package is really nice. It's slim. I think this might even be slimmer than the Black Bay 58 if I recall correctly. No adjustment. I do miss the class on my Black Bay 58, at least the bronze one, where it had the first one that had the T-fit class. That's a nice feature, but honestly, I don't always use it that much, and I usually, on a fixed adjustment system like this, or it is adjustable, but you can't just on the fly adjust it like those. I usually find a pretty good fit that just works when my wrist swells up or gets down. So this is this is a great watch. It's running about +5 seconds, which isn't bad. I just got it. We'll see how it settles in a month or two, I suppose, but overall pretty good. The loom is okay. It's passable. It's decent. It works. It's not as the hands are stronger than the dial, but overall even after a while, if I give it a full charge at the beginning of the night, at the morning, I still, if it's dark enough in the room, I will still be able to read the indexes. And of course, if it's brighter because of the contrast, I should be able to read it anyways. But definitely, even when it's pretty dark and like at least 6 hours has passed, a decent amount of time throughout the night, I can still read the handset, and I can still make out the indexes. So it's good enough. As long as I can make it through a night and into just basically into the morning, and it's still legible, it'll work for me, and it does do that. What I want to talk about, and I kind of babbled on for about 10 minutes here, sorry, is because I wanted to talk about this watch and why I got it back and what are good and bad about it. So in a way, it's a quick mini review. I've done a review of this watch, but it's just kind of a recap of that, really as briefly as I can make it. I'm not going to go over the specs. So the one thing that bugged me was the bracelet. It's a decent bracelet. I think this class might be stamped or so, but otherwise the scissor mechanism, the folding mechanism inside looks like it's milled, solid end links, push pins, friction pins, but those are easy to size, not a big deal. I should note that when I was sizing this, I don't remember them having half links before. I was looking at my old photos of when I sold this watch, and I usually have it left on this what I sized it to, and I have the extra links off to the side in my for sale pictures. And I was counting the links, and I didn't see any half links on what I had before. And I noted the position of this too, where it was on the micro adjust. And I was looking at the extra links that I had off to the side, and there's one that was grouped in two full links and then one single one. So I imagine I took out two full links and one single one, which is typical. Usually this side I take out more than this side, just so that the bracelet clasp lands right basically as middle center of my wrist as possible. Otherwise it tends to, if I left it even, I think it normally would end up being more to this side, which I don't like. It doesn't look centered. Or possibly if I take out too much, it might be over here. Anyways, that's what usually works to center it. And then I didn't see any half links in the photos, and so this came with a set here and here, and I took out, like, I don't know, probably two links plus the half link, and then this one plus a half link. Oh no, just one link, I think. I don't know. But either way, I should note that I'm almost certain it did not have half links before. So, these were out of production for a pretty long time, it seemed like. Was a question whether they'd bring it back. And same with some Airman models. But then they recently did, and I was thinking about it, and it was on sale at one particular site, glycinestore.eu. Not the one that's .ch. That one still was. They have two European sites. The .ch one, they sold at full retail, which was like $1,000 or so, more or less, which is a bit too expensive, I think, for this. And the .eu is much more reasonable. It was on sale, and it's around $500, and maybe just a hair over. And that's about right. You can get them like at Ashford's and maybe some places on eBay, like Glycine Direct, I think, sometimes sells it for pretty cheap, around the $500 mark, and I think that's fair and worth it. Anyways, yeah. So sometime between the last production, they might have added the half links to this bracelet. Anyways, what bothered me the most was sorry, I'm cleaning something off of the bracelet, was the center links, which take up a pretty decent area of the bracelet, was all high polished, and I don't like high polished center links, period. Especially on Oyster, it's just too much high polished surface area. It's going to scratch. I'm not worried about scratching it, but it just overall it's just too blingy, and especially since the watch head is all brushed anyways for the most part, except for some of the edging, but basically the overall look of the watch head is brushed. As you can see, sides, top, right on the case at least, it's all brushed. And so yeah, just having that high polish all the way through the center links. It's just very noticeable. Wasn't doing it for me, so I instantly, as soon as I got this new one in, I looked at that and I said, okay, that's got to go. And I took it off, the bracelet off, and I started looking at how I was going to approach brushing this out. And I did a video on it. You'll see it probably just prior to this video, I believe. And so, yeah, I went to work, and here we are. I just wanted to show the end result in natural lighting. I think I only showed it in indoors, not the best lighting, after I just done it. I didn't size the bracelet yet, because I did want to brush it all the way through with the full links, so that they all have the same treatment. So if ever I decide to sell this, hope I don't, I can't imagine I will, but who knows, right? They'll have a full set that match all the way through. If anyone needs to add more links, they'll all match. They don't have to brush it out themselves, which potentially could have a different look and finish. So anyways, I think the look looks really good, much better than the high polish. Look at my old videos, or if you see any of my posts, if you're part of the, any of the groups that I'm on, or my Instagram, at Corona Craze, you can see the old photos from about 2 years back. And maybe just anybody else has done a video or something on this or a similar model, that high polish, yeah, it's just too much. And this looks way better, just much more truly. And I just understand why they put the name Combat Sub on as a name for this model, and they have so much high polish on it. That shouldn't be allowed, right? It should be just brushed and subdued if it's going to have combat in the name. I don't know what's combat situations where you're going to need high polish like that. Yeah, but not that this is truly a military combat watch, but I suppose you could. It seems pretty damn rugged. 300 meters water resistant, solid Swiss movement, stainless steel. I don't know, it's built really nicely, and it runs really pretty great, quite good too. Yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to share. Let me just show it from different angles. Just has much more cleaner, it's not as distracting as before with that high polish though. That just seemed off, and it's just too much, high polish and bling or shine for such a watch. It looks much more nice and truly now. So anyway, that's about it. And thanks for watching. And I haven't come up with a new slogan yet, but do enjoy your watches. All right, thanks. Later.